ended.
Hello.
Ended. Something ended. What you watching, mate?
I'm just put on a Ludwig video as
Oh,
well.
I thought it sounded like Nile Red to me for a second there,
Really?
but I guess
Well, America only has like 5 voice actors, so
I mean he's not a voice actor, but he's also Canadian.
no, I mean, like North America only has like 5 unique voices. I know you don't agree with me, but me and Sleepy came up with this theory, and where there are 5 voices Americans can have.
And there's like one voice French people can have.
Sure.
Um, so how are you?
I'm good.
How have you been? It has been a while since we have recorded.
It has, yeah. What, 3 weeks now?
3, 4 weeks. I know we skipped on last week, I think.
Yeah, okay, so a bit over 3 weeks. I'm good. Yeah, just had class and lead up to Christmas and all that. So
Yeah, what did you end up doing for Christmas? Seeing as this is the, I'm not gonna say it's your first Christmas alone, but it is the first Christmas abroad.
yeah, so Christmas Eve, I went out with friends. Um, to the early hours of Christmas Day, bar hopping and all that. And Christmas Day, I just spent with my girlfriend. Um, yeah, for being away and not having the family aspect or the traditional Christmas aspect, it was pretty good. But
I mean, did you have
that's
anything nice to eat, or
not really.
was it literally just Netflix and chill?
I mean, we
In the
went
most
out to eat.
literal sense of, oh, not literal, but in the least innuendo sense.
You can keep some innuendo in that if you wish.
No,
Um,
you're not married. That stuff doesn't happen.
oh yeah. Um, but yeah, so yeah, it was nice that I was able to spend it with someone who I care about. So it wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it wasn't really like Christmassy. I'll be honest. Um,
Joys of
but
spending time in a not very not very Christian nation. I wouldn't say Christmassy. I've said in the
yeah,
past my favorite part of Christmas is the fact that the Japanese have bastardized it. It's amazing. I
yeah,
love Christmas fetish gear.
yeah. Um, it's like Valentine's Day, I guess, or maybe like Easter. Or no, but in Easter you still get the holiday.
Oh, dude, you're gonna get Japanese Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Imagine a holiday of romance where you don't have to do shit.
Yeah, but
But
then there's White Day, which
yeah,
is
I know,
all.
but they never make the episode about White Day, do they?
Uh, but yeah, so
But I mean,
yeah,
that
Christmas. And,
what is that, what is White Day? It's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks after.
no, it's a month. It's a month. It's the 14th of March.
Okay,
Is White Day. Yeah.
based. Um, I don't know. Did you get her anything, or
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
what?
Um.
Would you like to share, or
um. Well, I gave her a nice pen um when when I go over and I do my work, she was always liking to use my like fountain pens and stuff I would bring, and she does art and drawing and all that. So for Christmas, I got her a nice gold one, you know, and I know her favorite colors and stuff, so I got some things for colors, and then I just got some like little things as well, some little knickknacks, for her, you know.
That's nice. Did she get you anything?
She did, yeah.
Do you want to share or?
Not, I might just keep that to myself.
Oh, fair enough.
But,
I think I'm in very much the same situation. I got her a room divider. That, like, literally, it's one of these things that she's always wanted as like a prop for photo shoots, but she could never like find one,
mm,
or at least find one that she was willing to get, of like
yeah.
an Asian style like room divider thing. They
Oh,
use
okay,
for like
okay,
the
yeah,
changing rooms and stuff for like the not is it geisha? Might be geisha. I don't know.
oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
but yeah, like
traditional. Yeah.
yeah, she wanted one of those, and I tracked one down. The thing is, I bought like everything
A track.
a month
Sorry,
ago.
yeah, yeah.
Like, cause yeah, her birthday's at the start of December. Then there's Christmas, and then it's our anniversary next week.
Mm,
So I kind of just got everything at the same time, and she had to sit there for like most of the month with this giant fucking package in her living room. Like you can pick which one you want to open on which like holiday,
right.
but she chose that one for Christmas because one of the other things I got her was a mannequin head, and it was wrapped in such a way that she basically knew exactly what it was the moment
Mm,
it came. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna. This is my first present, and yeah, so that's how that worked out. Um, yeah,
nice.
nice.
Right. Um,
Do you hear from your family or
my
anything, or?
well, I would just say my girl's birthday is at the end of the week, this week, so I have to. That one I'm not so prepared for. Um, so I need to figure that out. From family, um, the thing is, right, the UK Royal Mail is on strike at the moment. So, and they've
Every
been on
every
strike,
everything is on fucking strike at the moment.
yeah,
It
like for
makes
the for
my
the whole.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, for like all of December and some of November, and it's still going on. So literally just now, I got just today I got a Christmas card from my sister. So um, literally just arrived. So apparently I do have some stuff, but nothing's arrived yet. No, my mother's one did arrive, and that was nice. It was like a couple books, and some like little I don't know what the word is, like tie-in stuff, but like, do you know when you go to York? You do know this actually, Jim. You know when you go to York and you see all those stores that sell like Harry Potter adjacent stuff? Nothing explicitly Harry Potter, but wizarding materials and all that sort of stuff.
Sure. Did she get you a Geordie care package or something?
No, that's the thing that's apparently coming. But I was just meaning like so I got like merch, but not really merch for like some books. I like so little tie-in things, like the identity card of character and things like that. Just little knickknacks, but it was nice. Like I say, apparently I have more stuff from other people, but it's not came through yet.
Cool.
Also, I got. I actually haven't told him this yet, because time zones. I'm waiting for him to wake up. But one of the Christmas cards came back. and the stamp on it just says that it was returned from the host country, like from the destination country, with no explanation. So someone on here is not getting a Christmas card,
All
or we have
right.
to resend it.
Um,
Um,
was it Poland?
no, no, it was not.
Because I have
Um,
had a notoriously bad time with Poland over the years.
oh, really?
Yeah, just everything that can go wrong has gone wrong when it comes to sending shit to Poland.
Mm.
Yeah, we actually had a problem this time around because the big deal of this is, yeah, and I want to point out, like, this isn't his fault. This is literally like the Polish Post just being absolute fucking ass.
Right.
But he finally got around to sending those prints, the ones that he made like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he finally sent those out while he was like dealing with his Secret Santa stuff, and it got returned back to him with a sign in Polish that says like, "Outbound mail from Poland is not happening at this time," and like,
Oh,
that's a fucking lie, because he got mail to France.
yeah.
Um, he got mail to my girlfriend's parents got well, dad got mail from Poland to the UK. Fine. And there's just been other instances of things just not actually being even attempted to be delivered.
Mm.
Like, he's been in the house like the entire day for something, and we'll like check in the next day and it says, "Oh, we," and we'll say, "We tried to deliver it to you," and immediately they've returned it to sender.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. I am very upset with the absolute state of Poland. But that's why I thought it might be Poland. I don't know who it is. Then I won't ask further. Mine hasn't
No,
been.
I'm gonna tell him anyway. I don't care. Like, it's no like it's not like a secret Santa or anything. Um, actually I should say because it's really weird. France, it's the Sleepies. The reason why this A, I've sent stuff to him before from the UK, but B, um, I also sent one to Leo, and that one hasn't been returned. So, I'll yeah, I'll need to make sure. I'm just waiting for him to wake up, and I'll let him know. But
Yeah,
because the podcast will come out in a couple of days, so it'll be
yeah.
after. But technically, I am saying this before I've told him, but it did just come back today. So, um,
How bizarre. Well, yeah. I'm glad to hear you got something from your parents. I didn't. It was so I mean, for Christmas I ended up having a nice lunch here because like this is the house where everyone tends to congregate.
yeah, yeah.
My father walked in with a nice big box for my stepmother, and when it
Mm.
came to gift giving, I asked where mine was, and he hurriedly reached into his wallet and he gave me a not so crisp $20 bill.
She.
In contrast, I gave him 1 kilogram of coffee. Well, welcome to like Christmas with Moon.
Uh, um, yeah, I'm trying to think of something to say. I'm
No,
sorry.
yeah, no, I don't know.
Um,
I'm just glad you had a nice Christmas. I mean,
thank you.
I ultimately I had a nice Christmas. The gift giving isn't all too important for me, but it
Mm,
is a bit sad when it feels like random strangers on the internet came out more for you than your own family.
yeah.
Um, I did get a couple of Steam games from people. I got Muv Love from Pella.
Nice.
So I'll read that after I read Steel Hearts. Other than that, a couple of other people got me a couple of other things on my wish list, so that was nice.
Hmm. Very nice.
Very, very, very nice. I'm trying to remember, did your Secret Santa? Yeah, yours did, because it was digital,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah. I got Code Vein.
Yes, the Souls-like game that me and your sender um, both very much enjoy.
Yeah. Though I'm very appreciative of it,
Yeah,
and
I feel like I know where this is going. Is you're currently on the other side of the world with a laptop.
yeah. So I can't play it.
See, I had it. I kind of had an opportunity to stop this, but I completely brain farted by the fact I was organizing the Secret Santa because I thought he had someone else.
Ah,
So I was like, oh yeah, whoever that is, they'll probably really enjoy it. But then I like looked into it after he'd already organized it. And it's like, oh god, he's not going to be able to use this for another year.
yeah. I mean, it's still something I wanted. Though, okay. That being said, um, I don't think I like pissed them off, but see, even logging into Steam and whatever can be a hassle here. Because I'm not in my country of residence and all that. So, uh,
They do let you
when
change it like
he
every
did,
3 months.
sorry.
They let you change it like every 3 months. I've learned this from fucking around with VPNs.
Ah, I should probably get around to just like officially changing it. Um, but basically, he didn't say what game he got me, and I couldn't redeem it immediately. I was busy. So, all he said was he got me Weeb Souls, to which I thanked him for getting me Sekiro. and, um, and he didn't say anything back. It wasn't until I like redeemed it like 2 days later. I was like, "Oh, Code Vein." Oh. So for 2 days, I thought he'd got me. I mean, the problem still stands that I had, but I thought he'd got me Sekiro. um, yeah, but thank you very much. Um, like,
Very, very nice. God, what else has happened? I feel like I had more to talk about before, like the most recent stuff.
sure, yeah.
I don't know. We talked about Christmas, and
Mm.
I don't know. Was that it? Were we supposed to talk about football?
Yeah, the World
The
Cup
cup
happened.
it finished between the last episode and now, I think.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
Argentina
what
won.
do you want me to talk about it for a bit?
Yeah, sure. Um,
Yeah.
all I know is Argentina won, and Messi is fucking old.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so Argentina, as Moon just said, Argentina won the World Cup. Fairy tale ending for Messi, who has been living a lot in Maradona's shadow. It was a criticism levied at him a lot when
Well,
people would talk about him being the greatest of all time. Was that, well, he's never won a World Cup for Argentina, and Diego Maradona did. Funnily enough,
was he
just
the one who
before,
did all the cocaine?
yes, yeah. And he's the one who scored on England with his hand and did the one of the most famous goals, the Hand of God. Um, and the referee didn't see it and allowed the goal to stand. And afterwards, when interviewed, he said it took a little bit of the head of Maradona, speaking about himself in the third person. He said it took himself a bit of the head of Maradona and a bit of the hand of God. Acknowledging it immediately after that he'd handballed the goal in a World Cup semi-final, but or quarter-final, I can't remember. But
And not long after
yeah,
the Falklands happened.
exactly. Like, so I think I've made the joke before where, like, low IQ English people hate Argentina because of the Falklands, but the real enemy is fucking Diego Maradona. But he actually died a month before the tournament. So, which some people have said are kind of like freed the Argentinian team from a shadow. I'm not saying that's true or not. I'm just passing the theory on. But yeah, it's been a big thing levied at Messi, and now Messi's won it. There was a whole community devoted to Argentina fans injuring themselves in the celebrations. In weird ways, falling off things and all that. They beat France, who made it to their second consecutive finals, but lost. It was a cracker game. I will say with Qatar, there's all like the human rights shit and all that, but like in terms of like the product of football, best tournament I've ever watched. It was a fucking banger. It was a banger tournament. Lots of big upsets, lots of great fucking games.
Okay, but the question is really like, how much of that can actually be blamed on Qatar?
I think I actually think it being in Qatar, basically there were these two big criticisms of the tournament leading up to it. That if you asked me, I would be railing against the tournament, and I actually now think that they quite helped with how good it was. So the first one being Qatar is very small and it's very hot, right? Actually, no, I'll get to the heat one later. Qatar is very small and it's not really a footballing country, which a lot of people don't like. Why are they getting a tournament? But what that meant was rather than traveling across a whole country or a whole continent like some of these tournaments are, players were only like at most like half an hour from the stadiums. And like think you have tournaments that are covering all of Australia or all of the next World Cup is US, Canada, and Mexico. We're talking distances of thousands of miles or kilometers. From each stadium. Whereas in Qatar, it was all just very very close together. So the fatigue of like the inter-country travel wasn't a factor at all. And the second thing was the timing. So, for people who don't know, the normal football season, at least in Europe and most countries follow the European model, occurs from August to May. And then June, July, August is off. So it's 9 months. And so tournaments typically begin 6 weeks after, well, 4 weeks after the end of the normal season, which is midway through June, and it would typically be mid-June to mid-July. So there's like 4 or 5 weeks off from the end of the season to the start of the tournament, and the same at the end. This one, because Qatar is fucking hot, it's a bit warm, bit balmy. They had to hold it in November. Mid to late November to mid to late December. Now, I hated this because to me, tournaments are always in the summer. That's what I'm used to. And I have class now and stuff where, in all the previous tournaments, I didn't have things on. I could just watch every game. And I had to miss quite a lot of games this time. So, but what it meant was rather than have this, summer period where the players are, enjoying time away and being with family and, maybe smoking some fags and doing some drugs and drinking more and, eating more and all that, and then having to get themselves back in shape for the tournament. Players only had like a week break. They were still in tip top fitness condition. going into the tournament. And so that's why I think the quality of play was actually really fucking high. Because the players were not coming off like a month break and a month of just chilling out. They were still in really good physical condition, and yeah, those are two things that I really didn't like going into the tournament that I now actually think contributed to making it a really good tournament. Not so much that I still want it to be in summer. I'm not saying I want all tournaments to be this time. I think tournaments should still be summer, but I will say like the football itself was great. It was actually fucking great this tournament. England got knocked out by France, which is sort of what I expected, but uh, still sucked, you know. Uh, Beyond that, not much else to say. I would say if you want to watch a finals game, watch that Argentina France game, even if you don't care about football. It is a bit slow, about halfway through regulation, but after about 70 minutes, really, it is one of the greatest football games of all time, I would say. At least in this century, definitely.
I'll take your word for it. Um, still can't convince me. No.
Sure, but yeah, it was a cracker. Yeah, that's World Cup corner. Done away with.
Good. Congratulations, Argentina. Very, very nicely done. 3 weeks ago.
Los Malvinas son Argentinias.
I speak
Okay.
us English, us on this podcast. Us.
Okay, so I'm just gonna look at my pictures. See if anything else interesting happened. Like, yeah, going out for Christmas. Yes, lots of Christmas anime girls.
I like anime girls.
Oh, okay. My room saga is something I need to vent about. Amogus. So, right. I have a leak in my room.
So put it in a pot. Make a stock.
Shut up. I have a leak in my bathroom, right? And it's not a big leak. You know, it's about a drop of water every 10 seconds directly above the shitter, you know. And it's just in this little panel, right? Ventilation panel or whatever. Now I'm not allowed to fix it myself. If it was in my thing, I'd just try and use an insulation gun, like one of the sealant. I'll put a different washer on. I think that's all it needs, but I'm not allowed to do that. As per the agreement. So, I let my dorm know. After a week, I let the staff know, like, hey, I've got this leak, and she's like, okay, yeah, in this part of the building. So it's like basically the whole vertical block. So rooms, 113, 114, and then 213, 214, 313, 314, 413, 414, all are reporting a leak. So I'm on the bottom floor, so I'm getting all the trickle down economics, right? And they're like, well, we'll have somebody in to fix it. In the meantime, do you want to change room? I say, no, I'm fine. Like, not really.
Well, we're not asking.
Well, so it's like, in the meantime, do you want to change room? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. It's just in my bathroom. It's fine. Nothing's getting damaged. It's all good, G. She's like, okay. And then a few days later, I get an email, and it's a mass email sent out to all the affected rooms and saying, we have alternative accommodation ready for you. I don't reply because I've already explained my situation. A couple of days later, I get one saying, "Hey, Williamson. Hey, you didn't reply." I'm like, "Oh, sorry. What's up?" "Well, we got another room. Would you like to move into it?" I'm like, "No. These people, they can come into my room at any time. Like, I'm good. Please, ease drop, just fix it." And a couple of days later, "Hey, Williamson, see, it's going to be a while until they can fix it." And this is the point where I realize they're using very ambiguous language, but I don't have a choice, right? They're saying it like I have a choice, which is why I keep declining. I keep saying, "No, I don't want to move all my stuff into a whole different room. I've been living here for like 3 months, and I've bought quite a bit of stuff for this room. I don't really want to do this." But it's at this point I realize that it's just Japanese ambiguity, like ambiguous language, but I don't have a choice. So I then say, okay, sure. I'm like, okay, we'll get back to you within a day with the details. 4 days later, they get back to me. So,
Very ambiguous.
yeah. And yeah, so and then I begin moving. So I am in a different room now. It's not too far. It's on the same floor, but it's annoying because when I moved in, I bought a lot of stuff for my room, and now having to move it all is yeah, it's a hassle.
So,
Um,
are they expecting you to move back to your original room once it's fixed?
no, no, this is my new room now.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
but it means all
that's
the all
okay.
the addresses and stuff I've gave and all whatever is all wrong now, and um, plus yeah, having to take everything and all that. I've got all the important stuff now in this room, and I finally put up some posters, some Monogatari posters that were sort of lying around. I just never put them up because I was a lazy bastard, and I didn't have to. I can't hammer things into the walls, and I tried, and they're like concrete. So, um, yeah, the new room is sort of giving me an opportunity to be like, oh, okay, I can actually try and model this. So I went and got some double-sided tape, and
Based.
put these things up. You made a sound?
Oh, I said based.
Oh, yeah. So I am like, but yeah, it has meant that like, oh, my time off, my week that I get off has now been pretty busy, just moving and cleaning and all that. Um, yeah. So that's kind of what's been on with me, like when I've not been doing something else. It's just been slowly moving.
Making it from a house to a home.
Live,
Again.
laugh, love. Yeah.
That's not too bad. Um, I guess the next on the agenda is you went somewhere.
It did. Yeah. Um, okay, so I can tell the full story now.
Now that the story is over.
Now that it's over, yes, and now it's being recorded as well. Um, because we did have a conversation 2 days ago. Yeah.
Yeah, not last
Yeah.
night, but the night before.
Sorry.
Yeah, not last night, but the night before. Yeah.
Yeah. Going through everything. So, um, one of the big things here, while I've been here, is that I can get things for people, and one of the big marquee events has been Comiket. Now, this Comiket was quite important because the next Comiket, 102, which is next August, it is ambiguous whether or not I will still be here because my visa is technically okay until September, but it's conditional on having on being okay by the university, and my university things ends in August, but it ends at the end of August, but sometimes it ends at the start of August, and I have to leave when that happens, and I can't transfer to a tourist visa or anything. I have to leave the country. There's no way around it. As soon as the university decides to end it, I have to go. So I may be here for Summer Comiket, and or I may not be here. Thus, I can't plan for it or take any orders or anything like that, until I know. And I'm not going to know until the future. So this could potentially be the only Comiket I'm here for. So I had to, make it count. And someone was a very generous patron and wanted a lot of stuff at Comiket. That person is also on this call. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Moon. I spend stupid amounts of money on things I enjoy.
So yes, the problem was the details I was operating under. So I went to Comiket 94. And Comiket 94 was no tickets, just show up, and it was a 3-day event.
This was also we'll say, one of the summer comic kit.
Yeah,
Not
summer
not the winter one, which is this one.
Yeah, I've never been to the winter one before. So yeah, I don't exactly know what's going to happen, and it turns out that the document I was working from was a document for a Comiket several years ago. It still comes up first on Google SEO, but it is not the current Comiket. So all the details I was working from on like planning and when tickets are released and all that, none of that's out of date. So a nightmare moment happens, which I haven't told you about before, but Moon gave me a bunch of money. Now, he had to, one of the reasons I needed it is because to withdraw money here is a nightmare. So I have to begin withdrawing immediately, and it takes several days. So I withdraw the first batch of money. I then go to check tickets, and they're sold out. All tickets are sold out. Everything. And I'm like, oh shit. Because I've just accepted a bunch of money for Comiket. And now it's like, I can't go. So I talked to my friends who were also planning on going to Comiket, and one of my friends, Wei, is quite sad because he wanted a cosplay ticket, and you have to get a ticket to cosplay at Comiket. And he couldn't go. So I asked his help, like, hey, can I buy resold Comiket tickets? And he's like, no, because you have to present ID. The tickets are name matched, so you can't resell tickets. There's no scalpers or whatever. I'm like, god damn it.
The scalping happens after the comic hit.
Yeah, so I'm like, shit. And I'm thinking okay, what can I do? And it's like, well, it's a nightmare because I can't UK bank here. All the money's now in the end. It's like, fuck, I'll just have to give him the money back later, or I can go to doujinshi stores after Comiket and maybe get some of this stuff. But I'm kind of having a nightmare, and I'm checking all the sites and it's all sold out, But see, my search browser is still in English, and so the one I was getting was the international Comiket tickets, which were all sold out. But I couldn't navigate the domestic site because Japanese web design is a solid 15 years behind. And they are, I'm sure you know this, or maybe you do that. Japanese websites are not necessarily the easiest to navigate.
They are
Um,
not, even when they look modern and shiny, and it's like, they go for that fucking infinite scrolling shit. It's
yeah.
it's a fucking headache.
Yeah. So I couldn't, and so I asked him like, "Hey, could you could you get me a ticket? Or could you check to see if there are tickets?" And then I say bye to him. Talk for a bit more. I say bye, and I go hang out. With my girlfriend. And 2.5 hours later, I go for a cigarette. I just check my phone, and I see I have like 20 missed messages. And this guy who checked for me
He
is
goes,
like, there are
"The
tickets.
second plane has hit the Tokyo Tower."
But he's saying like, there's a ticket for day two. There's like very few tickets left. Shall I get them? And this was like 2 hours ago. And I'm scrolling, and he makes the ultimate decision. He's like, okay, I've reserved the ticket for you because I wasn't responding because I was busy. So, big shout out to my boy Wei Yi, for doing that on my behalf, for reserving the ticket and putting my name in and all that.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Big shout out to Wei Yi helping both weebs and bodybuilders.
Um, I think I get that, and if I do, that's a terrible, a terrible joke. Um, okay, so I then get the details and have to go and pay the ticket at the Family Mart. So I have my ticket. I ask for day one, but he's
I,
like, no.
I will say that is one of the most confusing things that it apparently is a thing. Is just like when I go get weeb shit and I'm looking at the payment options, it's like, oh yeah, you can go to the fucking Konbini and like pay for it
Yeah.
there.
And you have to because so many of these websites do not accept foreign cards. Like I have a bank, I have a fucking Mastercard, right? But it's not accepted. So I have to pay for a lot of things at the Konbini. I think Amazon is the only big one that accepts my card.
Going
But
in for a Ramon, a packet of chips, and a Comiket ticket,
yeah,
as you fucking do.
yeah, well, maybe Red Bull and fried chicken, but yeah, uh, and the gummy get ticket. Uh, yeah, so I get the ticket, and then it's like waiting. I only have a day two ticket, and my friend Yusuf also has a ticket, but he got an afternoon one, which is like 12:30 entry, and mine is 11 o'clock entry. So we're not going to travel together because the time's a bit too long difference for us. So and yeah, so some of this now I've told you already, but just for the pod. So because this is a big event, I wake up very early. I wake up before 6. Um, you know, go back to my room, get ready, sorted, start looking at the map, start looking at the names and all that. See who's you know basically what to do. And I know I'm in the east section. I've got to go to the east. All this is for the east, and my ticket says east. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I get there with the time to spare. I join a line. I do accidentally join a Gaijin line, which are people with these international tickets. But then I'm able just to, I'm in the native category. I got mine the normal way, so I have to join the normal line. Foreigners keep getting to jump the line, which noticed, including this guy in a fucking Wumpus hat, like a Discord Wumpus cap, that I kept fucking seeing ahead of me in the line. And I saw him walk up, and he should be way behind me, but because he doesn't speak Japanese, they let him cut, along with like 30 other people. because we're all in the 11 o'clock entry category. So the long and short of it is basically I'm queuing
Fuck
for
white people.
I'm queuing for like 45 minutes, and I think it's by the time my friend Yusuf got there at like 1, by the time he got there, it was like a 5 minute queue. You know, it was very easy for him to get through. But of course, a lot of people are wanting to get in as early as possible. So even though we're processed at 11, so many other people have already been processed, they all have to go through first. So we're waiting. Like, I was in not moving for an entire like 30-minute podcast episode length that I was listening to standing still after being processed, but still waiting to go in, because so many people were coming in at this time. So I didn't get in until like 11:40. And when I finally get in, I don't know where I am. You know, I do have a map that Moon generously provided, but I have no fucking idea where I am.
Yeah, I guess at that point I'll say, I tried to be about as concise but simultaneously autistic as I could be with the information I provided.
Yeah.
Like it, and it's not an easy thing to do because a lot of people don't really like show much of what they're doing until like really close to the time. Like I would see maybe like the cover of the main thing that they're like selling at this Comiket. I won't see like prices. I won't see a full catalog until maybe like 3 days beforehand, and I'm not seeing what the stores look like until like an hour before I'm getting DM'd by SHG that he's in the line.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of revisions of information going by very, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
But
And we'll get to what happens very shortly. I just want to set the stage first. So I enter, and I'm in this big fucking hall, and I make a turn, and I've not been here before. I've been to Comiket before, but I've never been here before. It doesn't look familiar, so I've got no, and I'll find that out why later on. But for now, I'm sort of a bit lost, and I'm walking. Now, there are these two people on the server. Perhaps they're listening. More likely than not. But NASA and Skynet.
gone are the days when everyone listened to Sad Bear on Guy.
No. Feels bad, man.
If you're a real mofo and you still listen to Sad Bear on Guy, comment down below.
Yeah. They really like this cosplayer called Hanami.
Yeah.
Hanami.
I say Haname.
Yeah, he was dressed as Yor. And I've Sky was saying, at this moment, SAG could be looking at her breasts right now, and all that. They were very sort of like, and they were asking, hey, like, are you going to see him?
Does she smell like chamomile?
And I explained, like, it depends on how expensive her stuff is, and I've got other stuff to do, other commercial interests. You, basically, you've given me a lot of money. You're my first responsibility here. Get your stuff. So, yeah, I was not. So if I can later, or whatever, sure. But as I was walking through, when I first get here and I'm trying to orientate myself, I see a Yor cosplayer. It's not her. Okay. Whatever. So I keep walking, keep looking at the map, and I see another Yor cosplayer. And then I see the name below. I'm like, wait, that is her. Oh. Okay. And so there's not much of a queue. Some of these ones were queuing around the block and like went to the queue outside. I will say it seems like all the big artists, if you like were looking at the map, typically you got like the ones on the outside, like the A sections, because it meant that the queues could go outside of the building. So all the really big artists were mainly on the A ones, and the super big ones were facing outside. And sadly, a couple of them were moved. Like the moving to outside of Comiket was just that the lines were so big that they moved the table to like the outside like car park section. That was really in reality only like 50 meters away from the actual table. They weren't like moving super far, but
Yeah, I heard this happen with the whatever this Bocce the Rock is that everyone's losing their minds over recently.
yeah, yeah. I'm seeing this because yeah, I saw that as well on like day one. Like yeah, the thing posting, and so I'm just trying to say that like, one of the artists I really liked, a guy called Kizuna, who does I would say is the best Genshin Dojin guy. He had to move, and like his was so popular, he was also asked to move on day two. Because I was taking care of other things, I didn't get to his booth in time. But honestly, he was probably sold out of the thing I wanted anyway. Before I got there, but in reality, it was like, oh no, it wasn't Kizuna. It was another one. Sorry, but also a really good one. In reality, it was like 60 meters when they got moved outside. It's not like they got kicked out of the convention or whatever. It was a lot of them were already very close to the outside anyway. All the barriers and doors were open to the outside, so it was really just that all bocce or whatever got moved outside. That person, I know exactly where their thing was. They got moved like 30 meters, So it kind of sounds like they got moved more than they actually did. Um, but anyway, so I meet her. The queue's not that long, so I line up. Now the characters I care about, which is Yelan from Genshin, is in this bundle, which is 15,000 yen. And again, NASA and Sky really care about this girl. I don't really, you know. She's
For
cute or whatever. But
I forget, is it still sitting at like 100 yen to the USD? I don't know. I just want to look
uh,
at that.
purchasing power, yes, but in reality, it's more. I think now it's more like 140 to $1. But um, purchasing power, yeah, it's still about the same.
We'll just, so
Inflation is hitting like next month, so seriously, we're getting all the alerts that all the prices are going to be going up now. But for now, yeah, it's still. Um, but yeah, very expensive is what I mean. Like really expensive. But you can tell that by the cheapest. Most of even like the super big artists, sure, they might have these expensive bundles, but their cheap bundles, or they're just their cheap one item, will still be like 500 yen or 1,000. 1,000 yen was typically the most expensive. For her, it was 2,500. So more than.
I think you where it comes from is you can very much just see like where the money goes, in
Yeah,
in the sense that if the point of being self-published is that the only overhead is like how much instant ramen you need to live,
yeah,
and even then, like some of them I know might even do this only part. Like this is still their like hobby.
yeah, yeah.
I know that's the case with the artist that you didn't get to see on Friday.
Yeah.
Well, day one. Was it Friday or Saturday?
Yeah, Friday was day one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Friday, yeah. I ended up getting the stuff. It was a panic down the line because I knew you were having trouble getting into Friday. And like the
Yeah.
same day you said that, I checked Twitter and they had posted like reservations for like international shipping. And by the time I got home, they were all gone. So I started like freaking out some more, and then kind of like coping with the fact that I'm probably not going to get the stuff. And then
Yeah.
it wasn't until yesterday, that I then check and they're like, okay, now that Comic Get's over, I've got like 2 things left over. And I see this message like 2 hours after it's been posted. So I scramble on and it says there's 1 left. And I was like, okay, great. I've already got an account on this thing from buying stuff in the past. And I'm like just clicking through, hoping to get it before someone else snags it. I get to the end and my card declines. Because I haven't done this in so long that it's still got my old card saved.
Yeah.
So I start freaking out, and then I go back, re-enter like my new card, and then it doesn't go to the confirm page. It like goes to an almost blank screen, and I'm like, shit, did I miss it? I start freaking out. I go back to like the store page, and it's like, the buy button is grayed out, and I start freaking out, and I actually DM the artist. I'm like, so you're not like getting any more in, are you? Because this is like my 3rd attempt essentially. And I was like, but then I like go back to the page and I look up in the corner of the screen and there's a 1 next to the shopping cart icon, and I click it and it lets me go through again, but with like my new payment details. So I guess the button was just grayed out because it's like, no, the buying limit is 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it went through, it confirmed, and then I like apologized for the intrusion. It's like, I think it worked, and they're like, yeah, we got a confirmation at like 4:35 a.m. JST. I was like, yeah, that lines up with when 1 confirmed. So it's actually a real confirmation, and I'm kind of glad about that.
Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy you got it.
Back to Hanayame's tits.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think there's very much like a lot of staff under her.
I could see that she had 2 people with her.
Yeah, like I think there's 2 things in here. It's like, 1, she employs a lot of people. 2, I think she's got enough brains in her head to know that like this business model doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to retire at the age of 30 and you've got to make it worth it.
Oh, and it was very smart as well, because I should say, like, the character I cared about was Yelan, right? She had a Yelan book, but the Yelan book was only sold in this bundle for 15,000. The other one that was also only sold in this bundle was the cosplay she was in at that moment, which was Yor. So both Yor and Yelan, you could only get in the bundle. So I wanted to pick something up, half because I joined the line and it's quite embarrassing to leave. I'm in line and sure I want to meet her. And 2, partly, yes, to flex as well. Not like, hey, yeah, this person, yeah, I met her, I've got something. So I have to pick just, but I'm not willing to spend 15,000. Like, no way. So yeah, because also I don't know how expensive all of your stuff is at this time.
Yeah, I did some like rough math on like how much I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
I think I grossly overestimated it because I basically picked the first like catalog I could see as like, if you bought everything and everything costed this much at every booth, it would be about this much, and I think I grossly overestimated it. The one I based it off was very much on the higher end, I think.
I'll say, well, I don't want to say it on the recording, of course, because it's like, private. Do you want to like temporarily stop recording?
We're going to cut for a moment, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa!
Oh.
Okay. I forgot where we were.
Yes. So, after yeah, so yeah, the ones that I really cared about with her outfits, I couldn't get, and I was not willing to spend that much money. So I just got one of the 2,500 books, and she gave it to me. And yes, I got, I got to like shake her hand, and she spoke English, and yeah, it was nice. But because of the map you provided me, and the fact I knew her booth number, I could now spot where I was, and I was on the east side in the map, and I have to get all the way to the west side. So I'm I'm on the opposite side of the hall. So now I know this, I begin my walk, and it's hot, and there's so many people, and people are just pushing into me and like slamming into me, uh, and so I'm getting a little bit heated, you know. And then the huge lines, are going right in the middle of the walkways, and there's people pushing me from back, and I realize like I'm getting crushed here. There's no way I can go. I keep getting pushed, and the line in front of me that's like bisecting the walkway is not moving. You know, and I start getting a little bit claustrophobic, so I have to kind of push my way out, and then I push my way out back, and I have to go all the way around, like even further around, and then I finally get to a booth. Finally get to a booth, and I buy the stuff, and I take the pictures, and I post them. I'm like, okay, I got your first thing, and you are like, no. You're like, nope, that's not what I got. No, it was the second one because I did
Yeah, the first one
the
you
thirty
found
ninety
what?
artist guy first,
Yeah,
and
the
I did
first
get
one
him
you
wrong.
found was like, yeah, the Sky Freedom. Just gonna like name dump.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, that looks
Um,
about right. But and that it's kind of threw me off because I didn't know like where you'd come from. But it's like, okay, he's starting there, but
mm,
there's like a like like obviously he hasn't started at one. Maybe he's going backwards. But
yeah,
then yeah, some other weird stuff showed up, and even I got a bit lost.
yeah, and after yeah, so I think it was the second one. I posted. I was like, "You got it?" Like, okay, this one. You were like, "Nope, that's not." And so I'm like, "Oh," and with all of this, I literally get like, I'm starting to feel really uncomfortable and really fucking stressed. And thank God, Move for Moon, who just said, "Okay," like, because I'm literally typing like, "Fuck, shit," like, "No, fuck, ah," and he's like, "Chill out. All right, we'll do this." And so this became like a video game mission where I had somebody in my ear, not literally, of course, but like, I would go to a booth, I'd get the stuff, I'd post the picture, and by the time I posted the picture, Moon had already scouted the next booth to go to, and given me a picture of what that booth looked
Yeah,
like.
yeah. So by this point, the artists had all like posted, pictures of like this is my booth. Granted, it looked like it looked 2 hours ago when they had like full stock,
Yeah, yeah,
but a lot of them had like big like banners.
yeah, yeah.
So that was nice.
Yeah. So the thing that I didn't know was all the numbers. Basically, all of them had an A and a B. So the map only went to the numbers, but in each of them there were essentially two artists. And so yeah, at the start when I wasn't super sure, there was quite a bit of ambiguity, and that led to me getting some wrong books that I had to go back and get the other artist sitting at like the same table and get those books. So that was a bit annoying, but we figured that out. The other thing that was happening was by this time, even though it was only like 12:30, some of the super big ones were selling out already. So Mignon, was sold out, and that was the only time I saw like actual frustrated Japanese people like throwing their hands up. Because in the entire time I walked up to Mignon's, went and asked, and left, I saw at least like a dozen people do the exact same thing as me, whether in front of me or behind me. We were all doing the same thing. So there was still like tons of people coming up and asking. And they were all gone by like 12. So yeah, and Comic opens from, for people who don't know, Comic opens from 10:30 to 4:30. So we're talking like all sold out in the first quarter of the event. Um, so yeah, there were a couple of other where I would walk all the way to the booth and then just see no one there, or just see empty boxes and people packing up, and it was like, yeah, sold out. So a couple of the booths were sold out. You were seeing one of them just didn't show up. So
Yeah, yeah. So there was one artist in there that, which is also where we drew a lot of the confusion, because you grabbed the one next to it and it's like, no, there is no B, dude. Like, no one's there. And then I finally like pieced together, because I go back and I check their Twitter, and they're like they've got the booth organized, like saying, oh, I'm going to be here. But then you see like their art, and they're still in a very like work in progress, like just inking pages as of like the 28th of December.
yeah,
So they're not really making it on time.
yeah. So after that, we finished the hall, and I have to go to the other hall, and that's also where I have my other sort of order is with a guy on Auto server, and he's also got something there. So I'm like, okay, now I've got most of Moon stuff. There's only two other things in this one. I can also get this guy's stuff. But this guy did something wrong, or gave me a bit of a problem that I did, which is that the information he gave me, he translated, like, put in like DeepL or Google Translate. Now, the Comiket rows are alphabetical and then katakana, which is a syllabary system. So,
Mm.
it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to, X, Y, Z. And then it began with the Japanese syllabary system, which, if you don't know, is A, I, U, E, O, Kaki, Ku, Ke, Ko, Sashi, Su, Se, So, etc. For all the Japanese syllables, 46 of them. Now, he wanted something from Booth O, but he gave me the English version of it. Now, there was a Booth, a row O dash 33 dash B. And so I go there. And the art is like a bit, but, I'm
Nice
asking these
asses.
people.
We investigated this the evening of. Very, very nice asses.
Yeah, so I had to talk to both 33A and 33B. Now, one of them I asked and I showed, and I was like, "Is this you?" And it was like, "No." The other guy I had to speak with for like 3 or 4 minutes, trying to ask, "Is this person you?" I was saying the name. I was like, "Is this you?" And he wasn't getting it. And eventually, he confirms that it's not him. But now there's like a couple people behind me, and I've taken a lot of this person's time. And his books are not expensive. They're like 3 or 400. So, under social pressure, I buy one of his books, right? And the cover looks quite nice. It's got nice ass.
Not
Yeah.
not yeah, nice rum, nice sterile background. Um,
So basically, I wouldn't find this because I wasn't checking any of the books until after I came back. Um, it was a scatology one. So I have since had to tear that up into shreds and separate the pages from the cover, tear that and put it into the shared garbage because I am not having that in my room. And I was like, what's the what's the worst I could buy? Like, and it was just out of embarrassment, I bought quite possibly the worst thing I could buy. Literally the worst. Like, it could have been anything, if it was like Futo or whatever. Like, it's fine, but no, it had to be that. So, on top of the fact that it was the wrong booth, that guy did not want that stuff, and he wanted the katakana O, not the letter O. So I then have to walk another, 200 meters, 300 meters to get to the right booth and then buy the stuff there. So I'm able to do that. But yeah, so that was. I also did buy another book out of where, again, a lot of these booths were two people, and one of them was empty and one of them was in a line, and I was in the line, and the guy ahead of me was being slow, and I looked at the cover of the other one, for the other artist, and it looked quite like, oh, okay, that's kind of cute. Okay, I'll buy that. So I bought that book. That wasn't like an embarrassment one. That was just like I'll just buy it because it looks nice. And luckily that one's fine. That one's just a normal version. And it's like at this point I'm starting to buy some stuff for myself, you know, because up to this point I have not really bought anything for myself, because you gave me money, and so I have to take care of your stuff first. But now there's only like one booth that I'm now walking to for you left, so I'm now stopping and like seeing stuff. The problem is all the really good artists, or the really popular artists and stuff, are now selling out. So a lot of the booths I wanted to go to, Genshin is very popular, were all sold out. So sucked, but is what it is. And I'm able to get all your stuff.
Based.
Yeah, so then I go. Oh, and then I start going back because, again, I didn't know how much things would cost. So I start going back to booths as well to see if I can get. Because I was only getting some stuff at the start. Like, I'd get like half the stuff at their booth because it went kind of expensive. I was like, I've got quite a lot of people to get to, but by the time things started, slowing down and we got most of them, I was like, okay, I've still got like some money left. I'm gonna start going back to booths and get more stuff for you, which is where I was able to get, some like there's like a big poster and stuff. Yeah, so. And at this point, I'm very stressed and tired, and all the booths I want to go to now have all like sold out, and I'm not getting anything for myself. And I'm carrying this big bag that's getting quite heavy from all these books. And I have a cigarette, and I'm like, I want to go, I want to leave. And I keep seeing people with bags. Now, old heads, perhaps you, Moon, do you remember the Commie bag story from last time?
Vaguely.
Yeah. What do you?
So, as in, I don't really remember it now.
Okay. So last time I went to Comiket, I only went to one booth, which was the Four Leaf Studios booth, and I bought most of the KS books there that they still had, and I was carrying them, and I didn't have a bag. Now, in fairness, we had only been in Japan at this point for like 15 hours. So, we were pretty unprepared. And I see somebody with loads of bags. And so I go up to this guy and I basically accidentally harass him into trying to get a bag. And And I'm like, I'm offering to buy his bag, and he's like, obviously super like, what the fuck, this guy's just coming up to me trying to take my shit. It's very, very embarrassing. And Sleepy, like, I'm like, I'm not going to do this. And Sleepy's like, yeah, go for it. And then after I go for it, I sort of turn to him, and he's like, yeah, you shouldn't have listened to me. Like, that was bad. I was like so embarrassed. And eventually, like the staff have to come over and intercede and tell me where I can get a bag. And 4.5 years later, I still have that Comiket 94 bag. And so I'm like, well, I'm at Comiket 101. Like, this time I came prepared and I have a backpack and a tote bag. But I want a bag. And I keep seeing, at the start, no one had bags, right? But now, after I've done all the shopping and whatever, and the event's been, I'm seeing people with like these big, like, Nikkei bags, these big Comiket bags, and I keep seeing people with Hu Tao bags. And I'm like, where are these people getting these bags from? So I as I'm leaving, I ask somebody, I'm going back out the way I came in. I ask somebody, and the staff tell me that they're in the West Hall. Now I'm in the East Hall. My ticket says East. I'm like, can I even enter there? So I'm like, okay, how do I leave? And they're like, okay, you just go down there. And I'm gonna go home now. I can't enter the West Hall, so I begin walking back, but I have to go through Tokyo Big Sight. But then there's like people going, there's a huge amount of people going. I'm like, okay. So I'm kind of following the crowd. And we're going past the West Hall. In fact, we're going into the West Hall. I'm like, huh? Like, can we enter? And so I ask somebody, like, hey, are we going to the West Hall? And they're like, yeah, we are. I'm like, oh, okay. So I get there and I ask staff, like, can I come in to the West Hall? And they explain that I have an East entry ticket, which means I enter the event from the East, but I have access to all of Comiket. So I'm like, oh, okay. Which sucks because now the same problem has happened where there are booths selling out and things. And a lot of artists and things that I would have perhaps liked to have seen are like now, it's after 2, we're in the second half of the event. It's there's some booths that are now packing up, So I'm like, ah. And I'm also fucking dead on my feet and tired. And I remember this is the place where I was last time, which means last time I only went to the West Hall. I did not go to the East Hall at all. So I know that now. But yeah, I went around the West Hall, got a new bag, and then I kept seeing people with these Hu Tao bags, and I'm like, I fucking want a Hu Tao bag. I want one so badly. And I go up and I redeem myself. I have my grand redemption because I go up to a Japanese man and I ask him about his bag. But rather than last time where I was essentially harassing a poor man trying to leave, trying to buy his bag off him, I instead am able to speak in Japanese and explain, hi, I'm very sorry, but I'm interested in where you got that bag. Could you please tell me where you got that bag? And he's like, yes, of course. And I'm like, I'm so sorry for bothering you. And he's like, no, it's okay. Here. And he shows me the thing, and I'm able to take a picture, and I'm able to find the booth. And I did not harass a Japanese man. So character progression, character growth. And I find, and the stall is like packing up. There's very little left. And I'm like panicking because I want a Hu Tao bag so badly. And I go up and I ask for you have to buy a set. But again, where that Hanami set was like 15,000, this set was only like 3,000. And I ask, hey, do you have any of these left? And they're like, yes. I'm like, can I get a Hu Tao bag set, please? I'm like, sure thing. And I get the bag. I'm very happy. And then I leave. And to leave was a nightmare because there was one fucking monorail thing with like two carriages, and there were like 200,000 people at this event. So it was a nightmare getting back. and getting a seat. But yeah, that, and I get back home, and I authenticate all the books, and I put them in piles, and now they're here. And that is the story of my comic kit.
And what a wonderful C101 it was.
And I do hope I can go to C102. And this time I know how to get tickets, so I will get a 2-day ticket, and I will get the 10:30 entry, and queue up at like 8 o'clock so I enter early. I can plan better, but I don't know if I'll even be here, so we shall see. We shall see. Okay.
Amazing. I played Elden Ring.
Yeah, I've been watching you.
I'm glad. Normally the comment section is very desolate, and I'm not sure if people are watching me.
Yeah, I watched you for like 2 hours yesterday. Until you went off. But yeah, I must admit, for me, it's sort of like a background thing. Like, ooh, and I'll look over.
Hey, this strange man is just screaming randomly.
But yeah, you're getting quite fucking far. I never got past I couldn't
See,
get
I
past
don't think I am. I think I'm maybe 30% of the way through. Which
who's the cunt at the castle?
there's a lot of castles and there's a lot of
Okay.
cunts.
Like, you get past the giants, and you have to go down, and there's this guy who tells you that, like, you're, I don't know, fucking not prepared, or like some shit. It's like the first sort of super big boss you have to fight.
Yeah. What was his name? Murgit.
I couldn't. I'm
I
yet to
think his
beat
name
him.
was like Murgit the Ill Omen or something.
Yeah. I did a bunch of the side stuff in the region, which is why I really liked it. I could like just explore around and like do other shit and beat other bosses. So I
Yeah,
did beat like my first ever Dark Souls like bosses,
yeah.
but I wasn't able to beat him.
It's an interesting experience and like how it's trying to manage everything it's doing, and also I've been saying a lot, like you can see sort of like the DNA from the previous games they've made and like how it keeps evolving,
Yeah.
even if like minutely. Like, um, there's a lot of like the move sets that you see that are very reminiscent of Sekiro, but not
Mm.
the ones before that.
It's
Where
not like PS3 or anything.
no, it's not like Dark Souls 3. Like occasion, the big thing is like a delay in an attack. Like it's not necessarily like new ground, but Sekiro really like tried to hammer it home. Where like normally you might see like the enemy raise their sword, and so you get out of the way because it's gonna swing down and it's gonna fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Whereas in Sekiro and now in Elden Ring, you'll very much see them like raise their sword up, and then they're just gonna sit there,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that they sit there for just long enough that if you had rolled when you would roll at any other game, you're gonna get
When you
hit,
come back, yeah.
and it's frustrating. But it's good. It feels both incredibly hard but incredibly easy at the same time, and
Mm.
yeah, a lot of it's coming down to, I guess, trying to balance out the intended path, if there is such a thing.
Mm.
Like you talked about how you like hit that guy, this Murgit guy, and he is very much yeah, a roadblock, and it does sort of come to a question of like the intentions, because it is a very clean breadcrumb trail from where you start to that boss.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is to try and like hammer home that like you should be exploring, like don't just don't listen to us, or what. But yeah, it's a mixed bag, but I love it. I probably
Mm,
won't have final thoughts until I actually finish the game.
of
But yeah, I
course.
feel like I'm maybe a third of the way through,
Mm.
and it's kind of melting my brain because like I spent I've got what 40 hours in, which is no small feat because I've only played it for the past 3-4 days.
Yeah.
So the solid job, but like a majority of this was spent in the like beginning area.
Yeah, yeah. Just exploring around.
Yeah, like just every nook and cranny. Like the map is very well done in the sense that like if there's a blob on the map, there's something there, and
Yeah.
I haven't found much that wasn't marked on the map. I don't think. But then it's like the map's huge, and I know better than and unfortunately I did. I've consulted the wiki once now, and I hate myself for it. But the even then it didn't help. Well, it did help a bunch because you're trying to build your character a certain way, and you find out that like the one of the key things that you want is halfway into the game.
Mm.
So I kind of went on a bit of an excursion and like sprinted off to something to pick it up so that I could use it. And all it really is just makes my weapon lightning enchanted. That's all I wanted. And apparently you don't get that till like halfway in the game.
Mm.
But I'm glad I did because I'm trying to role play the one character that I always role play in every game, which is Dragon Slayer Ornstein. Which you're not familiar with it, maybe.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've probably heard of him. He gets talked about a lot, but basically, golden armored guy with a spear that shoots lightning and
Oh
kills
yeah.
dragons
Yeah.
and stuff. I think he looks
Is it
really
like
fucking.
memes and shit?
Yeah, there's probably
Yeah.
fucking memes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like him a lot, so I end up basically emulating him in every Dark Souls. Even the ones that don't actually have his armor, and it's a pain in the ass. And this is one of those situations, but I'm getting close.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, Elden Ring was like 40% off on Humble Bundle, so I finally picked it up. And I stopped playing Path of Exile because they ruined my fun.
Oh.
That's my story. I mean, I don't know. Do you want me to explain Path of Exile the same way I would explain War Thunder to you?
No. No, I'm good. Sorry.
Uh,
Also, I think you did explain that part last time.
no, I don't think so.
Explain some. Oh.
I probably did, but I haven't explained why I stopped playing. Is basically they made what I wanted to do unprofitable.
Oh yeah, yeah. Feel free to talk about why you stopped playing. Yeah,
I stopped playing because I had Elden Ring, but
yeah.
but no, I mean it was that like I'd bought Elden Ring and I'd had it in the library for a couple of days. I didn't immediately start playing it, but yeah, the league started for Path of Exile. I was kind of having fun. Like the new mechanic is great. The league basically has put Hades into the game. So it's actually very nicely done, and a lot of people are saying this is probably one of the best leagues ever.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of reworks to one of the other mechanics to the game, which was basically this tower defense mode that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And they nerfed it so that it basically doesn't print money at the highest end anymore. You in fact lose money. It kind of just took the wind out of my sails, and I realized, okay, I don't want to play this, and I just brought Elden Ring, so now I'm playing Elden Ring.
So when you say you weren't earning money,
So
or they weren't earning money, what do you mean?
I feel like I need to explain the entire end game of Path of Exile.
Okay, okay.
So to explain the end game is basically everything is itemized.
Yeah.
Like the a lot of what it is so there's a thing called maps, which is basically like a ticket to go do content.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you like play the game, you find these tickets, you go do that content, and then ideally you get more tickets to go do more content and like generate wealth to go buy things to make your thing kill more.
Yeah.
And yeah, the way I liked to do this was this tower defense mode. And it's all like this weird balancing game of like you put money in to get money out from doing stuff, and at the higher end you start losing money, which you really shouldn't do. Like I don't know how to explain it in like a short way to someone who like doesn't actually play. Basically, you put money in to get money out, except they fucked it so that no matter how hard you try to put the most money in, you get nothing out, which is
Yeah.
really not how it should work. At
Cool.
least
Yeah.
on average. You know, basically, I mean, when you're rolling the dice, no matter how much you weight it, it can still show up as an outcome you want. But ideally, you know, if you roll that dice 100 times, you're up.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work now, and I hate it, and it doesn't make me want to play, despite the fact that the rest of the game is still great. So
I get you.
that's my story of why I stopped playing Path of Exile, because they ruined that one niche thing, and now it's the worst game ever.
But you got Elden Ring.
But I got Elden Ring, and yeah, I've been playing that a lot, been streaming the entire thing, and still so much to do.
I mean, I've got quite a basic opinion of Elden Ring. Just that, yeah, when I hit a roadblock, I liked just being able to go in another direction. And find shit, you know?
I mean, you can almost technically do that with a lot of the other games.
Yeah, perhaps.
It's just, yeah, I mean, it's just arguably a bit more of a feature now. But
Yeah, maybe it's just I was easy, like fairly easy for me to do, but also I'm not that into what do you call like
they
what's the
call them
phrase?
Soulsborns.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think was the reason I wanted Code Vein, if I'm not mistaken. So it was recommended.
Yeah, I think it's a very like beginner friendly for the genre.
Yeah. So
I've explained it all before, but yeah, like the way the leveling works, it really benefits like trial and error.
Mm.
or not trial, but like experimentation. Like I've got this plan of I want to make this character in Elden Ring, and I kind of have to stick to it. Like, there's not much I can do to deviate. Like, I can't suddenly aspire to be a wizard without like severely
Yes.
hamstringing myself.
Yeah, you've told me this. Yeah, it's coming back to me.
Yeah, whereas in Code Vein, you're very much encouraged to do so.
Mm.
Yeah, because I mean, you do just fuck it. I want to become a wizard, and then you play wizard for a while, and you master wizard skills so that you can go use your wizard skills while you hit things with a big stick.
Mm.
And also the like permanent AI for co-op. It's a fun time. I look forward to you playing it in a year.
Uh,
I think I think it's getting late. It's like, yeah, it's past my bedtime and I still need to cook dinner.
okay, we're gonna end.
Thanks for
But
coming, everyone.
yep. Thank you, everyone.
You've
Take care.
been a
Happy
wonderful
New Year.
audience. Yes,
Merry Christmas.
I, what he said.
Uh,
Bye.
Take care and see you.
Wee.